So we are here today to try out this baby, the new SATAjet X. Today we're going to be using it for clear coat only. We'll do another test soon for base, but we're going to give it a shot with 923-460 clear and kind of see what we think. It's going to be our first shot with this, both Berto and I. So what do you think about how it feels?
I actually like it. Either it's got a bigger ridge right here, or this little indentation's a little deeper, but it seems to fit a lot nicer in your hand.
I was thinking the same. I mean, if you compare it to the 5500, it just has a better feel in the hand. This one to me feels a little square when you're holding it. It's like it's not as comfortable to hold. I think they actually learned some things from the Wada on how Wada did, but they definitely made it the most comfortable SATA I've ever had.
Very smooth, easy trigger pull.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice. I've never sprayed with this either, so this is my first time. This is my first time seeing it today. Lots of cool little settings. They added a lot of little nooks and crannies and tricks to this thing to make it a little easier to work with. Includes a wrench
that takes off your fluid cap,
which we'll get to eventually. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm intrigued. So
and you don't have to use that to take off the fluid cap. It actually comes with this little, looks like brass knuckles to me, but I actually like this because the way you hold it, it forces you to use your hand to take off your fluid tip, which is better to me than using a tool and cranking it down too much and causing damage to the gun. This gives you kind of the right amount of pressure that you need to tighten it up.
Yeah, should be good.
But anyway, that's our first reaction to how it feels and everything in the hand. And we'll do some spraying, bring you in the booth with us, and see what we think. There we go. Look at that fan pattern. Yeah. Back a tiny little bit, I think. Final thoughts after spraying for a full day. It honestly feels better in my hand than just about any other spray gun I've ever used. That's what I've noticed about it the most. Extremely ergonomic. They've beveled everything on this thing. Back here a lot more than the old 5500. It's not squared anywhere, so when you're holding it, it just feels good. It feels easy to use. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Atomization, really wonderful.
Amazing.
It has extreme atomization. That one's going to take me a little bit of time to get used to on a SATA. SATA's always been known for speed, and I'm a very fast painter, so I can usually lay it down pretty good with the speed. This one, it still throws it out. I mean, even though it atomizes really well, it still throws a lot of material out. A lot more than you would expect with a DV1 or an Awada.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to get it and dial it in to your style for sure. But atomization is incredible. Once you dial it in, you're going to be having some pretty amazing jobs with this gun. We have not shot base coat with it yet. That we got to try. We've heard that 100 line is pretty good with it. May eliminate a lot of matching and blending issues. What else?
The digital regulator on the back is interesting.
Yes.
It's like, as you can see, I don't want to say they took the idea from the DV1, but it's very similar to the idea of the DV1. And you can see right here, this is where your air pressure is. I don't know if that'll focus or not. Anyways, trust me. And it's got like a high and low spot. And I noticed when I was in there trying to adjust it when I was spraying, if you go below its low mark, a little hazard light, little hazard warning pops up. So I can only assume if you go above, like where the air pressure is supposed to be, that hazard light will pop up too. So it actually gives you, and I want to say it's about between 28 and 32, you're in the green, so to speak.
Right.
So that was
2 bars.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool because I was trying to drop it down to 25 to see what it would do. And yes, you can spray that at 25, but it did pop up a little hazard. That was cool. I would say, if I had to compare it to anything else, atomization similar to an Iwata with maybe a bigger fan, but the material output that you expect from a SATA. So as I was going across the hood, I did notice I had to pay attention a little further back as I was spraying because it's coming out so fine and you really can't focus on the texture of where it's coming out because by the time you overlap, it's a lot slicker than you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
But overall, I have very comfortable in my hand. I don't know if you saw me the first time I was spraying, I kept on readjusting because it felt a little different, but it stays there. And I think that's really cool. Overall, I think it's a winner for sure. They did their research.
Right.
I do like how little things, like it's got the same little repeating pattern for these little scallops for grip and texture. It's everywhere. They got rid of all the little harsh lines in here that tend to collect all the material. A lot smoother there.
Oh, yeah, and the thing we noticed too is all the other gun designs that we've seen have the rods are exposed as far as your nozzle and everything else. You'll see those in even the phaser. You can actually see that in there, and that's kind of an area that's kind of hard to clean. But nothing is exposed on that gun. It's completely enclosed. So as far as cleaning goes, it took me how long to clean this gun? 30 seconds,
Yeah.
30, 40 seconds
Not
to
much
clean
at
it.
all.
And that's pulling the cap off and everything. So super easy. It's a money-making tool. Bottom line, it really is. It's a money-making tool, and for the price, it needs to be a money-making tool. But I'm happy with it. Absolutely. We get some comments about why would you spend that much, on a gun? But what we do, I mean, we try to do the most, top-notch work that we possibly can. And we work in one of the best shops and use the best products with Glasurit 100 line. Why would we use anything cheaper than the SATA?
That's it.
Yeah. So, and there, I like some of the other guns. I like the Series 2. It's a good spray gun as well. But like I said, the SATA's, we've been waiting for this one for a while and glad to be able to finally test it out. So, hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time.